So the allied races for BFA are finished. We got 10 new races over the course of the expansion, and as far as we know, there aren't any really planned for 9.0. But that's not going to stop me from discussing them. A thing like allied races, there's something that can easily be added upon whenever the devs decide, so I'm sure we will get some more eventually. I even did a video a while back on some of the least talked about choices for which races could make an appearance in the embassies. You can go watch that if you desire right here. But for this video, we're only going to talk about one potential allied race, the Tuskarr. Now the Tuskarr are these walrus-like people living in the far reaches of Northrend in small fishing villages around the Borean Tundra, Dragonblight, and the Howling Fjord. Most of their culture, if not their entire culture, is centered around fishing and whaling instead of war and conquest. Since they were first reintroduced in Wrath of the Lich King, and for probably as long as I can remember, everyone and their mother has wanted Tuskarr as a playable race, from people like Mindflame to that guy who just levels alts and never gears them. They all wanted it, and at one point or another, I even wanted it myself. But that's just the question of the day. Would we get them? Some people will say no, because Blizzard is lame. Others will say yes and hold out hope for the off chance that one day, far into the future, they can be a Tuskarr. But there is an answer to this question. Well, maybe, depending on how you look at it. There is a quest in the Howling Fjord that could explain why the Tuskarr have not been set upon by dozens of Alliance Nord emissaries to join their wars and etc, etc. The quest is called The Jig Is Up, and it revolves around taking out Jonah Sterling, the leader of the North Sea Freebooters, so his crew can move on to bigger and better things. The quest is given by one Annie Bond, and in its text, we get this: I know why you're here. You've been sent to kill our leader, Jonah Sterling. I'd like to offer my help. Jonah's leadership threatens to ruin this entire operation. Attacking the Horde and the Alliance fleet simultaneously? Suicidal. Trying to sell the Tuskarr as slaves when they die days after leaving this climate? Disastrous. Jonah's hideout is located inside a cave west of here. Bring me his spyglass as proof of the deed, and my first action as lead will be to end all attacks against your allies. Now she states that when a Tuskarr is brought out of the northern climates, they die within a few days. That could explain why the Tuskarr are not playable, but there is something wrong here. There are Tuskarr living outside of Northrend. They can be found in places like Borealis, Zandalar, and even Darkmoon Isle, selling their wares and having no such issues outside the frozen north. Now you could argue that for as hot as it might be, it isn't that hot in Kulturos and Zandalar, and honestly, who knows about Darkmoon Isle because it's not on the map, but you could counter that statement with the presence of a Tuskarr named Trawler Yadimo, who has joined the Anglers. I shouldn't have to say this, but the Anglers are based out of Crossring Wilds, which is the southernmost zone on Pandaria and probably the entirety of Azeroth. Now you could try to use the Azerothian equator argument and say that by looking at the real world, we've only been ever north of the equator, so there's an entire south down there, but look, I'm not going to get into that. What we have here is a discrepancy. Clearly, Tuskarr can exist outside of Northrend, but let's be honest here. Are we going to believe the words of some random pirate? Are we going to take them as hard? Would you believe me if I said that I was just like the second coming of Jesus Christ? No. People say things, and this is one of those cases where this Annie Bond has no idea what she's talking about. Maybe because the Tuskarr are peaceful, maybe because they only ever fish and whale all their life, their bodies aren't used to slave labor, so they just keel over dead from exhaustion. Maybe it's something that only happens in warmer climates, because it is hot and labor is hard work. So with that said, they could still be an allied race, but I doubt it. And I doubt it because unless they pull a Wandering Isle Pandaren, they are strictly neutral. Both the Alliance and the Horde are allies with the Tuskarr, and it would take one or the other to do some egregious thing to pull them to one side. And I really don't think either side is going to do that. So could they? Could they really be an allied race? Maybe. Maybe. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding this video, WoW or its lore, you can leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll be sure to read each and every one of them. Thanks for watching.